Good morning, everyone. My name is Hannah Olivas. I am from She Rises Studios, and I'm coming to you live from New Jersey, which is very exciting. I have a special guest here today with me, Dr. Jill, and we have some really incredible things that we're going to talk about today. Today's live is talking about shattering the stigma of single motherhood, but there's so much more behind that. Jill, do you want to talk a little bit about, tell us who you are, what you do, and then we're going to just jump in.
Sure, I would love to. Thanks for having me. So my name is Dr. Jill Zambon. I got my doctorate in healthcare administration back in 2019 and was on this path to be the CEO of a small hospital. So where I grew up, that was kind of my goal. And the way that healthcare has been going and just the landscape of things, like ethically and morally, I just woke up one day and I was like, ooh, this isn't quite right. I'd kind of moved over into the pharmaceutical space, which is really against my morals. I'm very like holistic. And honestly, I left my corporate job. I took leave of absence. I was mentally not in a very good place and took leave of absence and just tried to figure out like, what do I really want to do? And I met a mentor who said, Jill, you have been able to be a successful single mom. And what you have done is really powerful and something that you could share with other single moms. So when I left the corporate world, I was making well over $250,000 a year. I was director of IT operations for a huge multi-billion-dollar global pharmaceutical organization. And, I achieved that by 31 years old. And so it happened quick. And I was like, man, she's right. I do have a lot to share about this, right? And so I said, let me just kind of dabble and see how I can monetize on this, because it's like, yeah, that's great. I'm a single mom. I can help other single moms, but I need to feed myself and my child, right? And so somehow I met you guys and I really resonated with you because of your story. And I was like, okay, let me just, maybe I'll write a book. And then we met and talked about what about an anthology and bringing other women in to also tell their stories. And so I was like, well, let's see what the market is. Let's see if women want to tell their stories. And I have had a complete overwhelming response from single moms who have basically bottled their stories up for years. Like, I haven't personally told anyone my story for over 8.5 years. I never shared my side of the story. I let my ex and his new spouse kind of control the narrative. And there's something really healing and just powerful about finally using your voice in a productive way. So the way that we have structured this book is like, it's not a place to come complain about all the things your ex did to you and complain about how hard it is to be a single mom. The way we have structured each chapter and each story is a little tiny bit should be how you became a single mom and what it was like, right? But the larger part needs to be, how have you overcome those obstacles? How have you healed yourself internally? And what were the red flags that you overlooked? Because as I started to talk to these women, I'm like, listen, ladies, we all know that there were red flags that we overlooked. And so we cannot completely be hands off and say, oh, it's not my fault I'm a single mom, right? Let's take some responsibility and say, yeah, I did let a lot of stuff slide. I did. And that is part of why I'm a single mom. And it has been so powerful. And, there's some women who financially cannot invest to be a part of this project. And I didn't want to leave them behind. So I said, how can I use these authors to go back and help these women, right? I don't want to leave them hanging. So I do a mastermind session with my authors twice a week, just quick 30 minutes. And I said, how would you ladies feel about creating our own speaking platform and going back into these communities and offering for free for these ladies to come listen to a little bit of what we have done to get to where we are? And they were all on board, right? So I've managed to attract very intelligent, kind, giving, respectful, like amazing women. And so they were like, yeah, sign me up. I want to do that. And then we started that. So we're planning our very first workshop on October 29th. It's called Transform Your Life, and it's virtual. So women don't have to worry about, flights and childcare and all that. And it's only 3 hours because I know we don't have a lot of time as single moms. And like we've already got, I don't even know how many signups, but that's extremely popular as well. And then the goal will be to do live events over the course of a year and actually start to meet our community face to face and really go out there and like hands-on, give them the mentors and the support that they need, because a lot of these women, they don't get support from the child's father. And a lot of them don't get support from their own families. And so being able to be that support network is critical in what we're doing as well. I just started this idea 2 months ago. And last week I got contacted by a podcaster in India. And she was like, will you come be on my podcast? Because we have this issue here too, right? It's global. Like it is not just the United States. This is a global issue. I went on her podcast and she said to me, you should come to India and be a motivational speaker and like come speak to us about this too. So I said, okay, if the opportunity presents itself, I would consider coming to India and speaking. Well, the next day, this huge speaking platform reached out to me. They do 2 big seminars each year. One has about 20,000 people, and then the other one has 500,000 people. And I met with them yesterday, and it does seem like a good synergy. They're more humanitarian effort, so very focused on kindness. But like they said, being a single parent is a global issue. And that is part of a humanitarian effort, is how do you give back and kind of nurture those people? So that's what's happened in a matter of 2 months.
Well, I think it's incredible what you're writing about, the fact that you're being so vulnerable and open in terms of what it really takes to become or to be a single mom. A lot of us, I was a single mom for about 8 or 9 years. And I feel like unless you've walked in those shoes, a lot of people really don't understand what it means to play the role of both. And so I think this anthology with these other women is going to be an incredible opportunity to really convey that message. I know that during my walk as a single mama, I had to wear 2 hats, sometimes 10. I remember not having the option. If I wasn't feeling good or if one of my kids wasn't feeling good, I still had to go to work. I still had to make ends meet. I remember back in the day when I was in the restaurant industry, taking my little babies to work with me, sticking them in a corner booth and having them roll silverware just so that I couldn't miss work. And I remember making a promise to myself that this too will pass, and it did. But a lot of people don't understand the struggle unless they've actually faced it. So I think the book is going to really present that message and maybe open the eyes of companies who hire single moms to have a better understanding. I think like what you said in terms of, this isn't bash your partner.
That's right.
It's not, because it's so much more than that. To me, a single mom is someone who has strength, who has tenacity, who can pretty much run things with her eyes closed. And it's like a superpower. So, some women are afraid to say, I'm a single mom, because of that stigma, because they feel it's embarrassing to say it. And it's really not. I mean, let's be honest, sometimes things don't work out between us and our significant other, and life goes on and we have these children. Would we like to have that support? It takes a dream team to raise children. But you can't force somebody to want to be an active parent. So what does the mama do? She continues to be that active role. So can you tell me a little bit in terms of, I know you have a few more spaces left. You're looking for women for this book. What are you looking for and an author for this project?
Yeah, I'm looking for someone with a very positive mindset, someone that can reflect on what's happened and talk about overcoming and adapting, right? I've had some women approach me who, if you're still super resentful and angry, which granted, I have my days I feel that. It is a roller coaster. It doesn't just magically dissipate one day, right? I have some days that I'm very angry, but for the most part, I really need women who have moved past that and who are ready to share their story, who aren't in fear, because it's so crazy. A lot of single moms don't share their story because they're afraid of the repercussion from the other person. And it just goes to show how controlled, like, most of these dads are, right? It's just crazy. So I need women that aren't afraid of that repercussion. Strong, independent, and kind. Like, I have to have kind women. I did have to let a couple people go already just because they weren't in the right mental space, because they were still churning over the breakup. They were still churning over the anger. And so really just women that are in a good mental space. And it doesn't matter how long you've been a single mom. It can be a couple months. Like, I have one woman who, she's only been a single mom a couple months, but she's out there, she's doing the work, she's gotten therapy, she's got back on her feet with her house, she got a new job. Like, she's going, right? She's kind of grabbed hold and said, like, this is what I'm doing, and I'm not going to keep repeating this same mistake. And I have other single moms like myself. Like, I've been a single mom for over 8 years. So the timeline doesn't matter. I've also got now a couple widows. So I understand it's weird. Like, there's different ways to become a single mom. And I hadn't even thought about that, right? So there's divorce, there's people that have never been married, there's widows, there's single mom by choice, where these women never met a partner, but they want to have kids and they've gone out and adopted children. So I have one woman that she went and adopted 2 children from really bad conditions, and which baffles me. I'm like, I can't imagine being a single mom by choice. Bless her heart. She's such a sweet woman. So I've got women like that too. So it's amazing, like, the different walks of life to lead into being a single mom.
That's awesome. So for those who are interested in being a part of this project and working with you, how would they find you?
I would recommend looking me up on Facebook. So Jillian Zambon, and I post pretty frequently about this opportunity. I am closing applications on Friday, 9 a.m. Eastern sharp, because I have a lot to look through. I've got a lot of interviews to do. And I'm only planning to take 5 more authors. So the sooner that they get the application in, the better.
Well, thank you so much, Dr. Jill, for joining me today. We just really wanted to give a premise of the book that's coming out. Do you want to share with the audience when the book is releasing?
Of course. The book is releasing November 22nd, just in time for holiday shopping rush.
And that is exactly what it's going to be.
Mm-hmm.
Well, thank you for joining me today. For those of you who are listening or are going to watch the replay, definitely, you can find her on Facebook, as she says. If for some reason you can't, feel free to contact She Rises. We will connect you with Jill. And for those of you women who are looking to share your story, this is definitely one way to do it. I know that you are running this book as a New York Times bestseller. I know that you have so many different opportunities for these women who are joining. So please reach out to Dr. Jill, and thank you so much for being with me today. My name is Hannah Leibus. Thanks, Jill.
Thank you.
Have a great day.
You too.